We see the Lightsworn player there. Not the best opening hand. He has his Gem Knight playing the Sapphire, not the Garnet. 2 copies of Gamma, 1,000 Blades, and a Solar Recharge. So he seems to have begun just by setting the 1,000 Blades, or possibly even the Gem Knight, and passing. Really not the opening that he was hoping for there. Whereas on the other side of the table, we see Lightsworn with, Spirals with Max C, Gamma, Spyral Mission Rescue, Terraforming, and Spyral Mission Assault. Plus a draw for turn, which I didn't quite catch there, but has access to Spyral tools to get going here. And with the Max C in hand, we can see that even if there is anything that starts to happen on the Lightsworn side of the table, there will be some counterplay and there will be some punishment if lots of special summons come down next time. You see the drone coming out here. Strong choice for Christopher here with drone, knowing that VJ hasn't had an explosive start. If he can stack the deck, he might be in a position to prevent a comeback. But opting just to go with the Quick Fix and the Last Resort equipped to be able to keep it on the field for a turn. So we see he has in hand at this point 2 Spiral Missions, one of the spell and one of the trap. He's using the effect here of the Spiral Gear Last Resort to be able to send a card he controls to the grave, allowing Spyral Quick Fix to attack directly this turn. However, he's not aiming to do that for the effect to attack directly, more just to be able to put the Spiral Mission spell into the grave, allowing him an extra summon and straight into the Spiral Double Helix. Again, as we said, being able to see the top 3 cards, ensure that VJ's hand won't be cleared up before the start of his second turn. We might be able to get a load through to see what he's looking at in those top 3 cards. Okay, so we see Monster Slots, Goblinberg, and Raiden. And we will see very shortly, when the Double Helix comes onto the board, just which one he's chosen to give to VJ to draw. So VJ will be drawing into a Goblinberg a turn. Now, that could allow him to make a play with the other level 4 monster that he'll have in his hand. Clearly he had 2 at the start of his first turn, chose to set one, but he's not going to be in a good position here because, as we've seen, Spyral takes 2 cards to set up, and then they'll be in control of the game until the end.
Yeah, it's very, very consistent and very, very easy to be able to kick off the plays.
The Quick Fix coming back out from the grave by discarding a card. Search again for another Spiral Gear. No access to the Last Resort as that's already been used. We see Link Summon with the Double Helix and the Master Plan into the Decode Talker, and Master Plan's effect triggers on hitting the grave, searching out 2 new cards. The advantage really just stacking up at this point. It looks like Sleeper and a second Spiral Resort. Resort being played over the one already on the field for an additional search. A Super Agent joins the mix. VJ sat in an awful position here with 2 Psyframe Gear Gammas in hand, neither of which he's able to use because of the monster that he chose to set turn 1.
And that, of course, can put you in some absolutely awful positions as well, where you just kind of watch your field be eaten away with nothing you can do about it, simply because you've already put something down.
Yeah. We often see the Psyframe hand trap being ever so powerful, but if you have a monster on the field, it's not doing anything for you at all. And you have the downside of the driver as well, which nobody wants to draw. We've seen the Firewall Dragon coming out here, co-linked to the double helix. Will give a piece of interaction for the following turn, along with the Spiral Sleeper, also able to destroy the resort on field to pop 2 cards. VJ just checking to see if there's a monster left in the graveyard to be able to be returned with the Spiral Resort during the end phase. I see a lot of attack points lining up here.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge. Yeah, that's game 1 over very, very quickly. Christopher Nielsen winning there.
Yeah. Playing around the Gammas in hand by leaving a monster on the field until he was ready to just attack the game. No effects needed at that point. Just clear out the monster, and it's a free road to sticking 8,000 damage. Now, let's have a look at the side decks. What might be coming in here? We see for VJ, there could be Anti-Spell Fragrance, which is playing first here. Possibly Twin Twisters, but limited effectiveness against a Spyral player, as we know, can be limited in what you can target with the Spiral Resort. And on the other side of the table, for Christopher, we have
Twin Twisters, Psyframe Gear, Epsilon.
neither of those likely to come in, as Twin Twisters only dealing with back row. We don't see any trap cards for VJ.
Evenly matched the third one.
Yeah, Epsilon negates trap cards again, not going to be in. Magical Spring won't be in. Evenly matched, as you say, yep, likely to come in.
Floodgate Trap Hole.
Floodgate Trap Hole, that will depend on whether Christopher expects to be told to be play first. As we've seen previously, the Spiral deck set up to play second. There can be some play to be had if the opposition player requests the Spiral player to play first.
Yeah.
But the counterplay there is if Christopher chooses to side in his trap holes, he'll be ready for that, and he'll have some cards to deal with the first turn play from VJ.
Our 2 players are shuffling up. Ready to go into game 2 very soon.
Looks like the Floodgate Trap Holes were staying in the side deck, so Christopher perhaps not expecting to be told to be playing first. Now, we didn't see very much from VJ that game. Yet again, we've been seeing bricks. Hands full of cards that don't really make a play from the player going first, and it's led to a lot of very swift games just like this one.
Yeah.
Perhaps this time he will draw the combo pieces that he needs and be able to establish a bit more of a board.
Bricking is one of the worst feelings. Just drawing your opening hand, looking at it and going, oh god, I can't play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Gotta sit here and watch my opponent do stuff for the next few turns.
And he even had one of the more painful hands where you sit there and you look at your hand traps and you think, this would be a lot better if I was going second, having chosen to go first. Or alternatively, it may have been that Christopher won the die roll and chose himself to play second, forcing the Lightsworn player into first. But this time, VJ will be able to choose, so he'll have to make the decision as to whether he would rather gain the advantage himself of going first, or deny the Spiral deck its planned setup of playing second.
What would you do?
At this point, I think I would still play first.
Yeah.
We didn't see very much of the Spiral deck. We don't even know for certain at this point that it is necessarily the build for going second, despite the fact that it is the more popular build. So in a deck that's designed for going first, I would still stick to my guns, trust what I've prepared going into the event and say I'm going to go first, and I'm going to hope that I don't brick so badly this game as I did the last one.
Makes sense. So, we've got highlights loaded in. Okay, so VJ's going first.
And we have opening hands coming in. We see for VJ 2 copies of Charge of the Light Brigade, a copy of Wolf, 1 Brilliant Fusion, and a Psy-Frame Gear Gamma. On the opposite side of the table, we have Ash Blossom, Gamma, Driver, and 2 Spyral Tough. So, ooh, this is big. The Ash Blossom is coming down on the Brilliant Fusion, and the Gamma will follow. But Christopher has his own Gamma to force through the Ash.
Wow.
Summoning both Gamma and the Driver from Christopher's hand, negating the Gamma from VJ, and allowing the Ash Blossom to negate the Brilliant Fusion at Chainlink 1. So at this point, VJ has left in his hand just 2 copies of Charge and the Wolf. He'll need to be hitting some good cards with his mills.
Definitely. I mean, here's a... Oh, let's have a look. Oh.
Was that Thousand Blades and Trick Clown on the mill?
I believe it was.
If that's the Thousand Blades underneath, he might have just milled the godly mills that we were suggesting he might be needing. Yeah, it looks like it is. So from being in a position with very little going for him, he's managed to hit one of the best 2-card combos to mill at the same time in the deck. Christopher at this point requesting that he gets a cut before the next Charge of the Light Brigade is resolved, possibly feeling a bit worse for wear after those first 3 mills.
That one wasn't so great.
No, nothing coming out there, but you can really see some huge power coming onto the board with 2 3 level 4 monsters. VJ is likely to summon the Raiden here to try and hit a snow into the grave. Not this time, but he may get another 2 mills in the end phase if he chooses to leave it face up. Alternatively, he may decide that he needs to use it as a tuner to get into an Omega. Opting for a Synchro Summon here. I assume we'll see an Omega hitting the field. So we see Christopher is going to be starting his turn with just 2 copies of Spyral Tough in his hand. Unless he draws a way to put a second monster on the field, he's not in the best position.
Good result.
Terraforming one of the best top decks here. Finds his resort. He'll show us just what Spirals can do without many cards in hand. At this point he has the ability to use Spyral Tough, check the top card of VJ's deck, and he's guaranteed to hit when he reveals one for the Super Agent in hand. Despite the miss with Tough, that's not the most important part here, just having that knowledge of the top card of the deck. So despite starting his turn with only 2 cards available to him,
Wow.
Christopher had everything that he needed here. And we'll see, just as we've seen before, what Spyral can do.
And here we go. Down comes Double Helix. But wait, there's more. When you purchase 1 Double Helix for a low price, you will get 1 Master Plan.
As we've seen before, Master Plan comes with the rescue, and then Link Summonal, and you get 2 new cards. 2 cards become 4 cards, become 6 cards.
Your master plan comes with 1 free rescue.
And a resort.
And a
Spyral
resort.
monster.
And a Spyral monster. But don't worry, it doesn't stop there. Have a decode talker.
I feel like we're in some sort of 1990s infomercial for Spyral at this point.
Are you tired of losing, going second? Play Spyral.
You see Christopher just going through the motions as he did in game 1. Playing out the combo. And VJ just has to sit there and wait with Wolf and Lila in hand. There's nothing that he can do to interrupt.
That's the thing, back in the day, back in my day, before we had all these fancy hand traps, you just sit there and watch your opponent do their play without being able to do absolutely anything.
Well, back then there were real traps.
But these days, it's even worse, because you have hand traps, but if you don't have them, you're thinking, oh, wish I had my hand traps.
Okay, so we've just seen a last resort there used to send the rescue that he added to hand from the field to the graveyard. He's able to use the rescue to get the Spyral Cup onto the board.
It's gone. Then 3,300. Oh, and they shook hands, yeah.
Nothing VJ can do at that point.
There we go.
For damage.
So ends this round. Christopher has just taken that 2-0. Let's go to our post-match discussion to talk a little bit more about that game. And so this is a very short one because there was just literally nothing that VJ could do there.
Well, we saw a huge chain being played out at the start of turn 1 there with Brilliant Fusion into Ash Blossom into Gamma. And every time a card hits the board, it's shifting, losing control, but with Christopher having the final chain link, he's in control of how everything resolves, and VJ is stuck in a similar position to how he was in game 1, not being able to play much at all. Nearly gets put back into the game by perfect mills from that first charge of the Light Brigade, but even then, not enough to deal with what 2 cards of a Spyral hand can put onto the field.
Yep. And just again and again and again, I say every round, huge example of Spyral just doing what Spyral does. Advantage, advantage, advantage. Spyral, Spyral, Spyral. Get more Spyral.
Yeah,
2 Spyrals, get more Spirals.
It shows the power of a deck that's built around 2-card combos and huge versatility as to which 2 cards they can be. You just need to be able to get 2 Spyral monsters onto the field, and you're cooking with gas. There's not a lot that's going to shut you down, particularly in the games that we've seen where the opposition hasn't even had the hand traps to counter it.
Yeah, yeah. So we have like loads of time because that ended up really, really quickly. So I think we should bring our winner in for an interview, and then maybe if we've got anybody hanging around, we might do maybe another interview, or we'll just